My world shattered when my husband betrayed me with my best friend, took everything away, but a mysterious bag containing millions in cash and a plane ticket led me on a journey that changed everything. The day I discovered the texts, I was standing at the edge of our kitchen, hands gripping the countertop so tightly that my knuckles went white, my chest hollow and buzzing. Derek's phone lay there, innocently unlocked, like it had been waiting for me to look. And I did. Madeline's name flashed across the screen with words I couldn't believe, couldn't process. Every laugh we'd shared, every secret whispered in the dark, every mundane Saturday morning suddenly felt like a lie. Ohio's winter sun streamed through the blinds, cold and sharp, cutting the room in half. I pressed my forehead to the counter, the grain of the wood biting into me, and felt the nausea and rage twist together until I thought I might collapse. I remembered the mornings, Derek in his flannel, coffee in hand, pretending like nothing had changed, Madeline's texts hidden, carefully timed, patient. I remembered her at my birthday party, smiling at me, laughing at jokes we both knew weren't funny. And I remembered the subtle changes I'd noticed. Late nights at work, a laugh that didn't reach his eyes, a scent I didn't recognize, but I'd told myself I was imagining things. I hadn't been imagining. Jocelyn found me hours later, curled on the couch, phone still in my lap, tears streaking my cheeks. "Avery, you okay?" Her voice trembling, unsure if she should be soft or fierce. I shook my head, no words coming. How could they? How could Derek, the man who promised forever, who held me through panic attacks and job losses, have done this? And Madeline, my friend. My best friend. How had she betrayed me so completely? The courthouse was a blur of white walls, echoing footsteps, and the sterile scent of cleaning chemicals. Filing for divorce felt like breathing for the first time in weeks, though my chest still ached. Derek didn't even look surprised. He smirked when he realized I had really done it. Took the house, the car, the life we'd built. Thought he'd won. But I had something else, something he could never touch. My own resolve. Days blurred into nights as I packed what I could carry, stored memories in boxes, threw away what hurt too much. That's when I found the bag. Tucked behind the dresser in the guest bedroom, the canvas was worn but solid, a weight that hinted at promise. A note pinned to it in delicate script read, "For when you're ready. Flight included. Find your own path." My hands trembled as I unzipped it. Stacks of crisp cash bundled neatly. A plane ticket. A place I had never been, a place that didn't even feel real yet called to me. I stared at it for a long moment, heart hammering, breath catching in my throat. The flight was surreal. Snow-flecked Ohio slipping beneath me, the gray world I had known receding into clouds. My hands wrapped around the bag, the ticket clutched tightly. I felt my old life pull at me, a ghost tugging at my sleeves. But each cloud I passed seemed to lift some weight I hadn't realized I was carrying. Betrayal, anger, grief. They were still there, but dulled by the wind rushing past the airplane's engines, by the sunlight streaking through the tiny window. Landing in the new city, I felt every nerve alive, every sense tingling. Streets buzzed with voices, aromas of roasting coffee, fried dough, spices I couldn't name. Neon signs reflected in wet pavement, splintered light casting the city in fragments. Like a kaleidoscope I was seeing for the first time. I lugged the bag to a small apartment, tiny, drafty, with thin walls and creaking floors, and yet it felt like the first place I could breathe freely in months. I spent days wandering the streets, learning them like a map in my bones. Cafes and diners became my classrooms. I listened to conversations, tasted foods that made my tongue tingle with unknown spices, observed lives I could only dream of. Each day I worked small jobs, cleaning homes, waiting tables, anything to feel money earned by my own hands. It wasn't wealth, but it was freedom. Every tip, every paycheck felt like a small victory, a reclaiming of myself. And the bag waited. Its presence was a quiet whisper, a reminder that life could still surprise me, even after everything had been stolen. I didn't need the money for revenge. I didn't need it for comfort. I needed it to move, to leave, to rebuild. One afternoon in a crowded diner, Sophie, another newcomer, not my old friend, another woman seeking herself, sat next to me. She was fumbling with a notebook, pen dropping, coffee spilling, and I laughed before I could stop. She looked up, startled, and then laughed with me. The connection was immediate, fragile, honest. Small talk became conversation, conversation became friendship. I realized how isolated I had been, how much I had missed in clinging to the ghost of a life that was never mine. Back in my apartment, nights stretched long. I unpacked memories I didn't want to carry anymore. Each item I touched, each piece of paper I smoothed, was a meditation on who I was and who I wanted to be. Derek's betrayal was a shadow at the edges of my mind, but it no longer defined the room I was in. I was building slowly, brick by brick, my own foundation. Weeks became months. I accepted temp jobs, then a position at a small artisan cooperative managing accounts and operations. Nothing glamorous, nothing high-powered, but it was real, tangible, a stake in this new city. I met people who didn't know my past, who didn't care about my old life, who taught me the thrill of new experiences. The air smelled different here, alive, full of possibility. I walked markets lined with stalls selling spices, leather, pottery. Each transaction, each interaction, reminded me that the world still held color, flavor, life. Every night, I wrote in a small journal I had bought with my first paycheck. Not about anger, not about revenge, but about noticing the ordinary miracles. The way sunlight bent across the window at just the right angle, the laughter of children in the street, the honesty of strangers who smiled back at me. My life had become a mosaic of moments, small victories, minor kindnesses, each one more valuable than all the wealth in the world. One rainy morning I packed the bag. Not because I was running, not because I wanted to escape, but because I was ready to move forward. I zipped it closed carefully, feeling the heft of cash, ticket, promise. They were reminders, not anchors. My new life was beginning, not with vengeance, not with sorrow, not with the echo of betrayal, but with a conscious choice, to live fully, fiercely, without apology. I walked out the apartment door, the city wet and shimmering in the rain, the streets reflecting neon like liquid light. Each step was mine, deliberate, measured, a drumbeat of reclaimed strength. The air smelled of rain and possibility, and I breathed deeply, feeling the pulse of my own life beneath my feet. I had lost everything familiar. I had gained something unimaginable: perspective, resilience, curiosity, and the willingness to trust life again. The bag, the flight, the money, they were catalysts, not solutions. They had given me a path, but I had walked it with my own feet, on my own terms. Evenings were spent exploring museums, tasting dishes that challenged my palate, laughing with friends who were strangers weeks before. I had learned the rhythm of this city, the quiet hum of life unfolding in small, extraordinary ways. I had rediscovered my voice, my choice, my agency. And though the memory of betrayal lingered, it no longer haunted me. It was a scar, yes, but a scar I carried as evidence of survival, not weakness. I understood now. The weight of loss could be transformed into motion. Pain could be transmuted into awareness. And from the ashes of trust broken, I had grown into someone who would never allow herself to be defined by someone else's choices. Morning light fell on my apartment in gold and pink, and I packed the bag one last time. Not to flee, but to move forward. The city awaited, my work awaited, my life awaited. I stepped into the streets, letting the wet pavement reflect my new resolve. I felt the rhythm of possibility under my feet, steady and strong. I was Avery Collins. I had survived. I had rebuilt. I had chosen myself. And in that choice, I had found a miracle that no betrayal could ever steal. If this story moved you, inspired you, or even made you pause for a moment, I would truly appreciate it if you could take a second to like this video. Your support helps me keep sharing more heartfelt, cinematic stories just like this one. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any future tales of resilience, transformation, and the unexpected twists life can bring. Every like, every comment, every subscription genuinely means a lot. It tells me that these stories are reaching the hearts of people who understand the journey of overcoming betrayal, finding strength, and discovering oneself. I'd love to hear your thoughts too, so please leave a comment sharing your favorite part, your reflections, or even your own experiences. Thank you so much for spending your time here, for reading, listening, and being part of this journey. Your support truly keeps this story alive.